So, you've probably heard of Elon Musk's AI company, xAI, right? Well, things got really interesting when one of its key founders just up and left. And he didn't just leave quietly. He posted this super cryptic message that sent the whole industry into a spin. So today, we're going to unpack that. We're going to look at why this one resignation is a huge deal and what it tells us about the crazy, high-stakes war for the future of AI. All right, here's the plan. First, we'll talk about the exodus happening at xAI. Then, we'll get into who this guy really is, the mind behind the model. After that, we'll peek inside the Grok factory to see what's going on. Then, we'll zoom out to look at the massive AI talent war. And finally, we'll tackle the big question. Is it about money, GPUs, or brains? Okay, so let's dive right in. The big story here is this wave of departures hitting one of the world's most valuable AI startups. Get this, 50%. Half. In less than 3 years, half of the original founding team that Elon Musk put together for xAI is gone. I mean, that's just a wild number for any company. But for a startup this important, it's kind of mind-blowing. So the departure that really got everyone talking was this guy, Jimmy Ba. And it's because of how he announced it. He posted this quote, "It's time to recalibrate my gradient on the big picture." Now, unless you're deep into machine learning, that probably sounds like nonsense, right? But it's actually kind of a big deal. Recalibrating your gradient is basically AI speak for completely changing your direction. Think of it like you're heading down one road and you suddenly slam on the brakes, do a U-turn, and head off in a totally new direction. It's a huge statement, and it's really the key to this whole story. All right, so you're probably thinking, who is Jimmy Ba anyway? And why does one guy leaving matter so much? Well, here's the thing. He isn't just some executive. This guy is literally one of the architects of modern AI as we know it. Back in 2015, he helped create something called the Atom Optimizer. Now, what is that? Honestly, it's like the engine starter for almost every AI model out there. It's the default algorithm, the go-to method everyone uses to train their neural networks faster and better. It's not just an important tool. It's pretty much the tool. And he didn't stop there. Oh no. A year later, he co-authored another paper on something called layer normalization. This became a super critical piece of the transformer architecture. And if you've heard of transformers, you know that's the blueprint, the very DNA of models like GPT, Claude, and yeah, even xAI's own Grok. His work is literally inside the competition's products too. And if you want to talk about influence, just look at this number. Over 300,000 academic citations. For those of you who aren't in academia, let me just say that is a massive, almost unheard of number. It means his work isn't just a footnote, it's the foundation that hundreds of thousands of other research projects are built on. And where did he come from? Well, his background is just top tier. We're talking University of Toronto for everything. Undergrad, master's, PhD. And his PhD supervisor? Oh, just Geoffrey Hinton, the godfather of deep learning. So yeah, Jimmy Ba isn't some coder who got lucky. He's basically deep learning royalty. Okay. So now that we know who this guy is, it makes his exit even more puzzling. What on earth was going on inside the Grok factory to make a giant like him walk away? And at xAI, he wasn't just some guy in the background, he was at the heart of it all. He was leading research, he was central to designing Grok 3 and 4, he was the guy. But here's the really weird part, he left just 8 days after SpaceX finalized its acquisition of xAI. I mean, that's supposed to be celebration time, right? The moment you pop the champagne. But for him, it was time to leave. So what happened? Well, it depends on who you ask. We got two totally different stories. The founders who left, including Patel, posted these very polite, "It's time for me to pursue new things" messages. But then you have Elon Musk's side of the story. He apparently said it was all part of a reorganization to improve speed and hinted that, some people weren't a good fit for where the company was headed. A little different, huh? And look, this wasn't an isolated incident. Ba's departure wasn't the start of the fire, it was more like the biggest log thrown onto an already burning blaze. You can see here a steady stream of co-founders heading for the exits, and it just got faster and faster as we got into 2026. And all of this creates this really strange situation, what I'm calling the xAI paradox. On one hand, you have a company swimming in cash, over $25 billion raised. They're spending money like crazy, planning to run this ridiculously huge network of over 500,000 top-of-the-line NVIDIA GPUs. But on the other hand, the people, the actual brains that started the whole thing, are leaving in droves. It's a paradox of massive growth in machines and money, and a massive decline in founding talent. So let's pull the camera back a bit. Because this isn't just about xAI. What does this one event tell us about the bigger picture, this great AI talent war that's happening everywhere?
Losing Jimmy Baugh is a really specific kind of blow. Think about it. He was their direct line, their bridge, to the deep academic research world where all these crazy new ideas come from. That's not just about hiring smart people. It's about legitimacy. It's about being connected to the source. And when you cut that bridge, well, it's really hard to rebuild.
Now, to be fair, founders leaving AI companies is not a new thing. Look at OpenAI. They've actually lost a higher percentage of their original 11 founders. So this is definitely a trend. But what's shocking about xAI is the speed, 50% gone in just a few years. And then you have a company like Anthropic on the other side, with 0 co-founder departures. It really shows you there are different ways these companies are being run.
And this all boils down to one huge, fundamental question, not just for xAI, but for the entire field.
I mean, just think about this for a second. The guy whose research is basically the operating system for every modern AI. He helped build Grok from the ground up, and then he just walked away. He decided there was something better to do. So xAI has all the money, all the computers they could ever want, but they're losing the human geniuses who actually know what to do with them.
And that leaves us with the big multi-billion-dollar question that Jimmy Baugh's resignation forces us to ask. It's a question for Elon Musk, for xAI, and honestly for anyone interested in where this is all going. In this incredible race to build the future of intelligence, what's really the most important ingredient? Is it the money, the GPUs, or is it the brains?